right, good morning, everybody. It is about 7:50 in Taos, New Mexico. A little cold. Heading down to Santa Fe for a site visit on a remodel we're doing. But today I wanted to talk about how we can apply sustainable off-grid buildings to cause projects. A lot of times those cause projects are disaster relief, but a lot of times they're also, we'll go and build a demonstration building or a school or a classroom, those types of things for communities all over the world. Haiti, Guatemala, those types of things. But we're also, there's disasters everywhere. There's a lot of them that are made by nature, right? Hurricanes, earthquakes, all those types of things, giant tsunami waves. And then there's human-made disasters, which is in a lot of inner cities, and homelessness and poverty and food deserts. So an example is West LA has plenty of Whole Foods and Trader Joe's and organic places. The inner city of Houston or Detroit, whatever other city in the Western world kind of thing, not so much. And so there's a lot of conversation there, but the point is that there are disasters everywhere, and we need to get into the inner cities as much as we do into what they call third world countries, kind of a thing. Even though I'm kind of thinking maybe America is more like a third world country, but that's another conversation. So a couple projects that we're working on and gearing up for, and how we apply sustainable off-grid buildings to these types of projects and programs. Right now there is something called St. Elmo Village in Culver City, Los Angeles. We're doing we're building them a laundry room and a couple other things on the little campus there. We'll have a link on our website to them, but they're a nonprofit, and they provide a lot of services to the kids in the area, to families, food, arts, all these types of things. And so we're working with them to help them do some retrofit and remodels at their buildings in Culver City. But they're also raising money for these programs, and for these remodels and retrofits. And so, yes, we can help and build and retrofit with our design and buildings, but we can also just direct attention to them so that they can raise money for their program. So that's one, and we're looking at doing that for others, to raise money for them. And then there's another one called Root Down LA, where we've been doing a lot of pro bono work on design for their programs. Definitely look them up, but we'll put some links on our website soon. And so we're doing a little kitchen thing for them in the yard that's educational and growing food and that kind of thing. But that's another one where we would like to help raise money for them, for their programs, in addition to the design and build side of things that we can do. And there's a project in Guatemala where we're building. So we were contacted by a local nonprofit group that is working with the government and Canada, because Canada's funding some things there. And so there's this community up there where there's a lot of women that have, they one of the most sustainable, if I can back up a little bit, one of the most sustainable things we can do is support and empower women. That's probably the most effective and important thing we can do beyond solar power or any of those things. Women make our homes, women raise us, they give us safety and unconditional love, all those things. It's not just systems of a building. Yes, men do a lot, we do a lot, but when we support and empower women, the world gets more sustainable. That's another conversation. But and so this group contacted us, and there's a rather large group of women there who make all these necklaces and art and pottery and all these things. They don't have a place to do it, on top of taking care of their family and their kids and the community, and so that's a project that we're going down there for in the winter of 24. If any of you know about the Earthship that was done in the South Pacific, and we've done it a few times in the States, it's basically that design: 2 tire walls on the side with the vaulted concrete roof over it. We have to be cognizant of the available materials where we're going to build. So we're doing that this winter. We'll be putting that up on our website soon, because we have to raise money and raise miles for travel for our crew and students who are going to join us, buy materials, some of those things. And then there's another one that we're doing. We're going to be building a school campus thing for the Masai Mara, I think I'm saying that right, in Kenya. And so we've done one trip out there already, and just to assess the situation. We've been working with them for a while. We've started drawings, and so that's going to be spring of 25. We're building 20-30 buildings for schools, dorms, classrooms, bakery, Wallapinis to grow food, all those types of things. We'll be bringing students and all. And so in these types of situations, sustainable off-grid buildings and their designs are highly effective in disaster relief, in cause projects, in community centers that are remote, or way up in the jungle, or inner cities. It's a little different in the States, obviously, because there's so many permits and regulations and things. Not that that's a bad thing, but when we're what they call third world countries, there's just the amount of steps and time that it takes to go from us to the local people to learn and understand and be able to build this after we leave. And sometimes we go back and continue to help, but the idea is we need to set them free so they can do all these things without us. And so that amount of time is way less, and there are way less steps as opposed to in the States or in the Western world. That's just what we've noticed. Things are picked up quicker. The permission, the ability to make things happen. There's just a lot of bureaucracy in the Western world for that. Not really talking about the difference in people in that. That's not really different. It's more about creating the process and the environment to make these things happen, which allows these designs and building methods to be understood and really digested by the people in a really quick and sustainable way. So it's always the process. It's never the people. And so we can use local materials. The locals can know how to do it, and in 10 or 14 days we can have a structure up with a flush toilet. And so a lot of what we do with typical client projects in the Western world is we'll funnel what we learned, that research, that money, that marketing and following and students and awareness into these cause projects, and affordable housing is definitely part of that. You know, where we'll do pro bono design work, we'll reduce our construction rates, our labor rates, all of it across the board for these types of projects because we can, and it's part of our mission. And then, you know, specifically about these off-grid living systems is, you know, not only can people understand this and then be able to build it and do it without us, but they realize they can do that. And that's a pretty powerful thing, because that brings in a sense of independence, which brings safety and, you know, a good root foundation in your community when you're helping each other. So there's a lot of human psyche conditions and effects, and there's a lot of local materials, and it's simple. You know, dirt and tires are everywhere. We're talking about 3D printing too, and getting and sending those machines all over the place, and you know, creating these botanical cells which treat wastewater, where a lot of different units share a long system, and then you get into food production. And so these things are highly, highly effective at meeting this critical need of all these disasters, human-made or nature-made. And so they're quick, and they're independent, and they work, and they take care of people. Check the other video about how amazing Earthships are, and how they take care of people. So we bring that in quickly, and you know, we can build one unit in a couple weeks. And so it's quick. In a disaster, we need fast and strong shelter, potable water, and something to deal with waste, you know, shit and piss. And that's what this does very quickly. And you know, like I said, the local people and powers that be understand it and see how it comes together. So they're not reliant on us. Sometimes it takes a couple projects. But then these buildings are also ready for the next disaster. And they'll allow the inhabitants to not just survive through the next disaster, but thrive through it. Yeah, there's going to be damage. There's always damage. There's no such thing as disaster proof with nature-made disasters. But there we go. The sun's a little funky. That seems better. And there's no such thing as buildings that are disaster proof from nature-made disasters. But human-made, yes, that's easily solvable. It's just a choice with humans. That's all it is. Nature, you got to deal with the physics and giant earthquakes and waves and all those things, which we can do. But they're not disaster proof. Human disasters, yeah, we're disaster proof on human-made things. You know, poverty, inadequate housing and buildings, neglected land, you know, politics, all of those, human war, all of these things. These things really set people free, and they do solve the human-made disasters. And so this cause program, and we're not the only firm doing this. There are other firms that I highly recommend and encourage to seek out and support doing sustainable off-grid buildings for disaster relief things and for clients in general. It is critical that as many organizations as possible do this, and that's part of our academy, where we teach people how to do that also, not just design and build these things, but how to go off and start your own business doing this, and get the support to do that, all of the business documents, all those templates, and sending you clients too. So there's that part of the program that supports this disaster relief thing, because there are other organizations doing it. We're doing it. No one entity can meet this need of disaster relief. I mean, look at the world today. We need an army, as Mike Reynolds says, of people and organizations doing disaster relief with sustainable off-grid methods. So inner cities are very critical. We have a couple in Los Angeles. We're endeavoring to do more all the time and get into more inner cities in the West, not to mention, the rest of the world. Because, it's always good to go overseas and do programs and cause things, but, we also have some issues here in the States. Taos, New Mexico, a tiny little town. There's a disaster here. As long as there's people with no home, there's a disaster. Rent is outrageous. So affordable housing is a crazy giant disaster that it's just insane when you think about it. Not having a home, not having a bed, not having your own private space, all of those things are intense and traumatic for a human to go through. Humans are the only species on the planet that don't have their own housing in order. Homelessness is a human thing, and it's rough, and it is increasing at a ridiculously rapid rate all over the country. We are hearing from clients, potential clients, that we need affordable housing in our county. What do we do? We're working with a few that actually have a decent amount of money to do pretty impactful projects, and we're pursuing that. 3D printing is one of them. But getting into, say, Detroit, I haven't been there in a long time. I've only seen pictures. Raising money, grants to buy a block, right, an acre or whatever it is, and 3D print a whole bunch of buildings, and build with rammed earth and tires. The point is that we can get these sustainable off-grid buildings with no utility bills, none, and a $500 rent. That's a solution to that disaster right there. And we bring in tax-paying citizens without taxing the infrastructure. We beautify and clean up all these neglected properties and buildings. We teach green jobs. So there's a lot of aspects in sustainable off-grid buildings with an academy and a cause program that provide all these different types of solutions for this giant, complicated disaster of affordable housing. And the same thing is true when we go into India after a 30-foot wall of water mowed down a village, and it's crazy. So that's the cause thing. That's the disaster relief. Those are the things that we have on deck. And if you have a disaster in your area, please reach out to us. We are scaling and spinning up these programs, and we want a ton of projects for that, because we have pretty good solutions in our humble opinion, not to mention other organizations to partner with and collaborate so that we can do more, right? So we can hit more disasters and help more people. So that's the deal. That's the program. PangeaDesignBuild.com, and like I said, look up others also. We need to support everybody. Have a great day. Over and out.